The country, which overlooks the Strait of Gibraltar, the only natural gateway to Europe, and shares its name, sits atop a massive limestone outcrop, also known as the Rock of Gibraltar. For this reason, the British, who dominate the country, refer to it as the Rock, which means Kaya in English. The sea that gave rise to civilization, Gibraltar, which guards the entrance to the Mediterranean, has been the cause of wars throughout history among the Spanish, French, and British. Today it is England's only overseas territory on the European continent, or in other words, the only colony on the European continent. In this video from Kablosuz Dergi, we will take a closer look at Gibraltar, known as the most important rock formation in Europe. Before we get into the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you enjoy the video. Located at the southern tip of the Iberian Peninsula, Gibraltar sits at one of the closest points where the European coastline meets the African continent. At its narrowest point, it is only 13 kilometers away from the African continent. The country has an area of only 6.7 square kilometers. To put it into perspective, it's about 1/800th the size of Istanbul. Of the 33,700 population of Jebel Tariq, 27% are British, 24% are Spanish, 19% are Portuguese, 8% are Maltese, and the rest are small ethnic groups residing in the country for work purposes. The official language is English, but Spanish is also widely used. In addition to these two languages, this tiny country also has its own local language called Llanito. Actually, Llanito is not an original language. It is a language where Andalusian Spanish and English are mixed together, and words are pronounced with a Mediterranean accent. The official status of Gibraltar usually causes confusion among people. Is this a country or a British territory? After all, they have a flag, a national anthem, and even a national team that recently played a match with us. But Gibraltar is not exactly a country. As I just mentioned, it is an overseas territory of the British. They are not fully independent, but have their own parliament with representatives elected by their people. The British appoint a governor here. The British Parliament has full authority over defense and foreign policy. Gibraltar citizens are also officially considered British citizens and have a British passport. There is a British military garrison and a naval base in the country. How did a small rocky area located about 1,600 kilometers from mainland England and only sharing a land border with Spain become a British territory? This place used to belong to the Kingdom of Spain. At that time, Spain was an empire that had spread across vast territories from Asia to the American continent. In the mid-1600s, the throne of this empire was held by Charles II, who came from the Austrian Habsburg dynasty. Carlos was the king. Charles II had no children or heir to inherit the throne. After his death, disputes arose among the European states claiming the throne, and these disputes turned into a major war at the beginning of the 1700s. The War of Spanish Succession, which spread to continents outside Europe, is described by some historians as a world war. During the war, Louis XIV of France claimed the Spanish throne. It passed to Louis XIV's grandson, Philip V. In the 13-year-long war, the British, with the support of the Dutch Navy, captured the Rock of Gibraltar. After the war, with the Treaty of Utrecht signed in 1713, Gibraltar was permanently ceded to the British. Gibraltar, during the Napoleonic Wars and World War II, became an important base for the British Royal Navy because it controlled the entrance and exit of the Mediterranean. Of course, the Spanish also claimed that these rocks geographically belonged to them, and that they were already part of Spain in the past, and from time to time demanded their return. In 1954, Queen Elizabeth II of England, when Queen Elizabeth visited the country, tensions had reached their peak for Spain. In response to the Queen's visit, they closed the Spanish consulate in Gibraltar. All Spaniards traveling to Gibraltar for business or tourism were banned from entering. These bans lasted for a full 31 years. They lifted the bans in 1985, 1 year before Spain joined the European Union. Because of Spain's objections, the British held 2 referendums in Gibraltar. In these referendums, the people were asked whether they wanted to remain under British rule or join Spain. In the first referendum in 1968, 12,762 voters chose to continue under British rule, while only 44 voted to join Spain. In the second referendum, held in 2002, 98.9% of the voters chose to continue under British rule. The country that controls Gibraltar has, throughout history, been considered to control all the ports in the Mediterranean as well. Because the Mediterranean has two gateways to the world, one is the Strait of Gibraltar and the other is the man-made Suez Canal. Especially for trade between Europe and the Americas, this strait has vital importance. For example, a ship loaded with bananas from Central America has to pass through here to reach Istanbul. Bananas are just a small example. From petroleum to natural gas, from electronics to heavy industry, many products or parts pass through the Strait of Gibraltar. If you close this passage, a ship carrying cargo from the Americas would have to sail around Africa and pass through the Suez Canal to reach a port in the Mediterranean. This would mean the paralysis of the entire Western economy and an increase in the prices of almost all products. About every 5 minutes, a large cargo ship carrying containers, oil, or gas passes through the Strait of Gibraltar. In addition, dozens of smaller cargo and passenger ships also pass through. Besides its commercial importance, it is also a key military point. At a time when Russia is escalating tensions and trying to expand its dominance on the Black Sea coast, Gibraltar, thousands of kilometers away, even has strategic importance over the Black Sea. We call this country Gibraltar, while its own citizens call it Gibraltar. The name comes from a Muslim commander. This place used to be called Calpe. The North African Berber commander Tariq bin Ziyad organized an expedition to conquer Spain. On this expedition, the first place he set foot with his army and used as a military headquarters was Gibraltar. Referring to the rock in the area, this place was named Gibraltar, meaning the mountain of Tariq. This name was first translated into Italian as Gibraltar, and from there it became Gibraltar in European languages. In Islamic sources, its name is also mentioned as Jabal al-Fath. Tariq bin Ziyad, who gave his name to the country, is also the person who introduced the phrase, burning the ships, to humanity. After landing at Gibraltar with his army of 7,000 to conquer Spain, he had all the ships burned, breaking his soldiers' hope of returning. He encouraged his soldiers by saying, "Behind you is the sea like an enemy. In front of you is the enemy like a sea. Where will you escape?" Gibraltar is a very active country due to the benefits provided by its tax advantages. It is the fifth most densely populated place in the world. It is among the places with the highest level of prosperity in Europe. The country's income mostly comes from the financial sector. Since it is considered one of the tax havens, many foreign wealthy people keep their money in Gibraltar banks. Also, due to tax advantages and legal protection, many organizations that operate online betting and gambling obtain their licenses from Gibraltar. Such a large cash flow creates the need to legally monitor these activities as well. The country also has the highest number of lawyers per capita in the world. The currency is the Gibraltar pound, and its value is pegged to the British pound sterling. In addition to their own currency, you can also shop with British pounds in the country. But the Gibraltar pound is not accepted in England. One of the most remarkable features of Gibraltar is its airport. Because a highway passes through the middle of it and the landing area is naturally limited by mountains, it is considered one of the most dangerous airports in the world. The airport was built by the British for military purposes at the very beginning of World War II. After the war, it was expanded and started to serve commercial use. When planes are about to land, the highway that crosses the middle of the runway is closed off with barriers. Traffic and pedestrian crossings are stopped. On both sides, officials are waiting to make sure there are no problems. After the planes land and take off, the road is reopened and daily life continues. You can reach the African continent, which is across from Jebel Tariq, with a 30-minute ferry ride. The ships departing from the port go to the Tanger Med port of Morocco across the sea. Occasionally, there have been proposals to connect the two continents through the Strait of Gibraltar. The governments of Spain and Morocco started feasibility studies, for an underwater tunnel project in 1979. Inspired by the Channel Tunnel that connects England and France, this idea was proposed, but due to the much more complex and deep geological structure of the Strait of Gibraltar, it would have incurred huge cost and was shelved. With the advancement of engineering capabilities in the early 2000s, ideas to connect the two continents were reignited. This time, the plan was to build a bridge. Despite the advanced capabilities, building a bridge in such a geography was deemed unrealistic once again. With Brexit, the United Kingdom's exit from the European Union pushed the country to find new trade partners. In 2021, the idea of a bridge project from Gibraltar to the city of Tangier in Morocco was reignited. Africa, the continent most open to economic development globally, is a prime United Kingdom trade partner. Will they successfully connect the two continents? We'll find out. One of the most touristic attractions in Gibraltar is the population of about 300 Barbary macaques living in the country. If we don't count humans, this species of monkey is the only primate community living in its natural habitat in Europe. It is not known when and how the monkeys came here. Some researchers claim that they swam here from the coast of Morocco. Tourists who get off cruise ships docking in the country say that the first thing they want to do is take a taxi and go see these monkeys. Their natural habitat is the uppermost parts of the Rock of Gibraltar. Because of the heavy tourist visits, they are used to people and are calm, but if they feel uneasy, they can still be dangerous. They have also become skilled thieves. They steal both valuable and worthless things from tourist bags and pockets and quickly disappear from sight. If you also know something interesting about Gibraltar, please write it below.